is the 2025 Formula Winter Series, the third season of Giedlick's F4 category. 30 drivers from 19 nations are on this grid, and all of them share one common goal: championship glory.
It's great. I mean, I like this track a lot. It's a lot of elevation change, definitely different from anything I've ever driven before. It's amazing.
Really nice to be here in Portugal for the first round of the Formula Winter Series. Lovely sunny and a great breakaway from the Great British weather.
Very different to anything I've experienced, really. The elevation changes are huge. It's very difficult with turning a lot under braking, especially with this new brake technique that I'm trying to figure out with this new car, so it's definitely a challenge.
Well, finally, after a long wait, we are back with Season 3 of the Formula Winter Series here at the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve. We'll be bringing you several broadcasts this weekend covering the 3 races of the Formula Winter Series, as well as the Giedlick Racing 6 hours of Portimão, just finishing up a session on the track at the moment. But for now, we're firmly focused on the formulas, who have 3 races to come this weekend, 2 on this Saturday afternoon. Myself, Adam Weller, in the commentary box once again with Andy McEwen and Izzy Browning down in the pit lane and on the grid as well. We're back for the second week in a row here at the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve. The circuit, a little under 4.7 kilometres in length, 15 corners, 9 of which arc to the right. Lots of elevation changes here. The key words at this circuit are up, down and roller coaster. Anyone you speak to in the paddock has the same feedback in that regard. And the 30 drivers taking to the grid this weekend have had to get to grips with it. Only 2 of them have previously raced here before, and it is quite the challenge to get your head around this place for the first time, but they've had plenty of testing in advance of the race day. As you can see, the weather is pretty good around the circuit at the moment, and mercifully, it looks like it's going to be consistent throughout the rest of the day. Minimal winds, a little bit of sunshine, and January heat, which feels weird for British people to say, and it is looking like a prime day for getting this series off to a start at the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve. It's the first time ever that the Formula Winter Series has come to race in Portugal, and what a place, Andy McEwen, to start the season.
The perfect venue, I would say. Thoroughly enjoying my time here in the Algarve in the winter of 2025. February sunshine, actually, we're enjoying now, aren't we?
Yes, it is.
January has been and gone, I'm afraid. Already this year is racing by, but yes, very much looking forward to this. Week 3 of our Giedlick Racing Winter Series journey, and really excited to have the Formula Winter Series drivers on the grid. This is always a kind of category that really excites me. These are the stars of the future, and lots of people like to use phrases like that, at will, but this really genuinely is the case. There are some really talented drivers on this grid who we will be talking about for decades to come, and I'm really excited to see who comes out on top at the end of the season. And of course, a relatively short championship campaign. You've got to make every race count, and that includes the 3 here this weekend.
Absolutely right, and of course they'll be looking to emulate the 2 pre-existing champions in the Formula Wind Series, Kasper Stuka in 2023 and Griffin Peebles in 2024. Some new teams on the grid, the new tyres as well in use, of course, switching from Pirellis to from Hankooks to Pirellis for this season, which brings it more in line with the package in the British Championship, in the Italian Championship, the Euro 4s, the F4 Central Europeans. So that is great, and you see the evidence of that in the team lineups this year. Of course, High-Tech joining us for the first time in the series, and plenty of teams from the Italian F4 Championship in amongst it as well. Some great young talents on the grid, and one thing that has been fabulous to see is the female trophy in numbers this year. Plenty of F1 Academy drivers, the likes of Alicia Paumovsky, of Nina Gaidman, as well, of course, Rafaela Ferreira, Lots of very, very exciting young talents from F1 Academy, or indeed wanting to forge their way into F1 Academy. People like Prescott, for example, Peyton Westcott, sorry. It is so good, though, in general, to see that we've got almost a third of the grid is dedicated to the female young talents. And, of course, that was part of the initiative of F1 Academy in general, at the grassroots level and in the main series. And I think we're starting to see that pay dividends in our series, yes, but also across the junior single-seater landscape.
Indeed so, because now they realise there is a legitimate route to the top, and there is a destination at the end of that journey. You know, it always used to be the case that those who did sort of try and forge a path into single-seater racing kind of didn't really know where they'd end up, but now that we do have the F1 Academy, that is their route potentially into F1, and that sort of feeds then all the way down through the other rungs of the ladder. So yeah, it really is fantastic to see, and I think we'll have a few of them, hopefully, towards the pointy end of the grid as well.
Yeah, it's difficult to see the wood from the trees if there isn't a pathway through the forest, but we are starting to make that happen for the young female talents. And one of the ones who we saw in F1 Academy last year, one of the drivers we saw on a wildcard basis last year, was Nina Gaidman. She really impressed, turned many heads in the Formula One Academy last year at Zandvoort, and she's doing so once again here in the Formula Winter Series at Portimão, and we heard from her earlier on this week.
This year on the Formula Winter Series grid, we have many female drivers joining us, and one of those joining us this weekend is Nina Gaidman. Nina, welcome to the Formula Winter Series paddock. How are you, and how have you been enjoying Portimão so far?
Good, thank you. Yeah, we've been testing here last year for 2 days, so we already had a bit of a taste of the circuit. Yesterday we've had some issues. Yeah, we couldn't avoid. We've prepped really well. We just couldn't avoid. So yesterday was a bit of a messy day, but today started off well. We improved a lot, so that's good.
We want to talk to you a little bit about your story, because you've got a really interesting story in the sense that you almost had to stop racing after karting, and kind of what allowed you to get back into it and to be here.
Yeah, I've been karting since I was 5, and then multiple. I drove the Dutch Championship. I've done some car racing, but not so much, mostly touring car. And then I had to quit racing because of family struggles, so no budget, etc., etc. And then I started social media to create a form of income, and it just blew up a little. And then I got sponsors, and I met my manager, and we managed to get the budget for F4 last year. And just, after the wild card, that was a good result. So we came in touch with Alpine, and then also got the budget for this year. So that's great.
Yeah, you mentioned the wild card and also the full season of F4 that you did last year. I mean, you're coming into the FWS as one of the more experienced drivers in that sense. We've got a fair few rookies on the grid. What are you taking into this year, and what are you wanting to improve most about your driving in F4?
Well, since I joined High Tech, I improved a lot, I think. Last year was a bit of a struggle for us. I was glad I could do the wild card. And after British F4, I joined High Tech, and it just turned out really well. I've been improving a lot, and it's great to be battling with the guys, of course.
So let's talk about that wildcard, because you came in and you did that at your home track in the Netherlands, and you were the highest placed wildcard driver all season in F1 Academy. I'm sure that did a lot to get you the seat for this year, but you must have been so proud to do that at your home track.
Yeah, fun thing is I've been talking to Alpine before the wildcard, and after, of course, many other teams joined as well. But with Alpine it just felt right from the start, and I think they have a great academy, so I just wanted to join them.
So what kind of learning and what extra resources does being part of the Alpine Academy give you? Kind of that support must be invaluable.
Yeah, so they support me in a lot of ways, so obviously financial, but also I got a trainer now, and he tracks my training and my weight and everything, of course, and my food. But whenever I have any questions, I got Jack here, the Alpine Academy manager, who's supporting me here on track. He's been an engineer before, so he can also help me a lot with the driving on track and just the preparations and just mentally during the weekend.
And we've seen that on your car it says Alpine Academy, so that must be pretty cool as well.
Yeah, it is really cool. I can't wait to drive the actual livery when they launch it in February. I can't wait to actually drive it.
So what are you hoping to get out of this season then in FWS? Obviously racing here, beautiful sunny conditions at the moment. We're not sure that it's going to stay like that for the whole season, but what are you hoping to get out of?
Well, obviously I'm going to miss Barcelona because of testing in F1 Academy, so I won't be here for the full championship, but I want to fight at the front with the boys and just to show that we girls can drive at the front as well.
All right, well, we wish you best of luck. Thank you very much for speaking to us, and we'll see you out on track.
Thank you.
So great to hear from Nina Gaidman there with Izzy Browning. The cars are currently being wheeled out from the garages towards the pit apron, as you can see, and they will soon be released onto their sighting lap. The weather has remained consistent, so if you were joining us last week for the GTs and the prototypes, you will have seen some of the exploratory situations we had to have in the wet conditions. Good to see Albert Larsson's helmet there, covered in signatures and well wishes. Must go down and talk about that and try and figure out the story there. And there's part of the Jens lineup in the form of Artem Siverikin, one of a couple of rookie drivers that they have in that lineup for this season. Bart Harrison, of course, a bit more experience. We've seen him previously in the Formula Winter Series back in 2024, so great to see Bart making his return to the category. And he's also a useful one for commentators, as his personal sponsor is his last name. And for us, of course, that means that as long as the car is side on, it's very easy to identify.
Good, yes. I wish that would catch on, because it does make our lives easier. Anything that makes our lives easier makes us happier. So I'm all for it. But yeah, good opportunity here to take a look up close and personal with the cars. And they're the number 5 of Bjorn McLaughlin. Irish driver, one to watch, definitely. Another one of this brace of rookie drivers that we've got in the Formula Winter Series this season, and looking to try and get the season off to a good start. Cars filtering out of the pit lane now. I don't really want to draw your attention to this, Adam, but if you look out of the commentary box window to, well, sort of behind us towards turn 1, the sky is darkening rather. I did spot that as I came into the commentary box just now. Some ominous looking clouds gathering over the hills in the distance. Now, it is not yet raining, but it is noticeably cooler outside than it was an hour ago. There is noticeably less blue sky. I do have a funny feeling we may, for the 3rd week in a row, be talking a little bit about weather later on this afternoon.
I'm trusting the Alpha Live weather graphic over you. I refuse to engage with this negativity. While we let's make sure the weather radar is pointing us in the right direction, we will go to another catch up with one of our drivers, another one that many people will be watching, and that is Thomas Behrman.
Thomas, great to see you. How are you? Welcome to the Formula Winter Series paddock, and how excited were you to get back in the car?
Yeah, it's been a long winter break. Definitely excited to come back after, I don't know, doing some training and preparing for the season. It's really nice to be here in Portugal for the first round of the Formula Winter Series. Lovely sunny and a great break away from the great British weather.
And you're not completely new to F4 racing. Of course, you had your single-seater debut last season, end of last season, but you are still fairly new. So how have things been going so far, and what kind of improvements have you been making?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we did 3 races at the end of last season just to prepare for this season, I guess. And yeah, so far I've been learning a lot. I mean, from my teammates, Leo, second-year driver, and Finn, also a very fast driver. Yeah, learning a lot from them, especially just testing before the season, and now also while we're here for this race, it's good to have dates from those really fast guys to improve myself and improve the lap time as well.
So what have the preparations looked like over the winter to kind of get to this point?
Yeah, I obviously did some training over the winter with my trainer at home, and yeah, also I've been busy with school, so it's made that a bit difficult. So yeah, it's been good though.
Busy life. So coming into this season, what kind of goals have you and the team set? Because you'll be doing the full season with Hi-Tech. What kind of goals have you guys set, and what do you want to get out of the Formula Winter Series?
I don't think there's a particular goal in mind for this season. I just think it's good preparation for the championship we do for the rest of the year, and that's the goal really, just to learn as much as I can, as much as possible. I mean, I'm still going in here as a rookie, so it doesn't matter too much about race results for me. I just want to learn as much as possible and make everything as precise and perfect as possible in my driving.
And of course, some of that learning will be these new tracks that you're going to that I'm sure you would have never been to before. So how are you enjoying Portimão, and how is it to drive?
Yeah, obviously ex-F1 track per se, so it's really cool to drive. I mean, the undulations all around the track make it really exciting. It's a few difficult corners, but that's the fun of it, I guess. And also looking forward in the calendar, Barcelona, another F1 track. Really exciting to go there and race.
And of course, I have to ask, of course, your brother, not that long ago that he was in F4, has he given you any tips or any words of encouragement?
Yeah, I was on call with him last night actually. Not particularly about racing, but yeah, we speak a bit about it for sure. It's an aligned interest between us both, so it's always good to talk to him, especially with his previous experience. It makes him a really good mentor for me, I guess, and yeah, really important in my my development, and also as he can give me tips for anything I want.
An invaluable resource. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So that was Thomas Behrman. He will be right up there on the grid, actually on the 4th position, 2nd row of the grid, alongside his teammate Leo Robinson. You can see the cars lining up at the moment, including pole sitter Gabriel Gomez, Eddie Robinson alongside him on the front row as well. Us Racing with a very good start, putting their best foot first in the early stages of the Formula Wind Series of 2025. They, of course, are returning. They were the team that entered the 2023 champion, Kasper Stuka, in the Formula Wind Series, and they were with us last year as well. But a lot of challenges up and down the grid for the Us Racing team. They are the most numerous team on the grid, with 6 cars at the moment, and I believe it might be more than 6 a bit later on. There are more than 6 cars for Izzy Browning to deal with. In fact, there are 30. So let's go down there now to talk to Izzy.
There are indeed 30 cars on the grid behind me, all lining up now for the first race of the Formula Winter Series. As Andy and Adam have kind of already said, beautiful blue skies behind us, but the view down to turn 1, there's definitely a little bit of weather coming in. I don't know whether that will affect this race, but we might have a bit of weather coming in later on. Anyway, we are going to go and speak to some of our drivers. This is the number 78 of Gabriel Gomez, one of 2 drivers on this grid who have raced here before. He would have raced here in the Spanish F4 Championship, and he is on pole position for this first race of the day. I'm going to dive in with him. Gabriel, first pole position of the season. Fantastic way to start the day.
Yeah, it was a very good way for us to start the year. I'm really happy with my week until now, and I think we can make a really good job now into the race.
And you've raced here before. You're one of 2 drivers on the grid who has raced here before, so do you think that will give you a bit of an advantage today?
I'm not sure, because many people here make many tests, but for sure it helped me in the race, because I hope I know a little bit more than the others. We will see.
All right, well, we wish you best of luck. Thanks for speaking to us. Right, we're going to continue back. Interestingly, so Hi-Tech, brand new team to the championship, and Us Racing, who are veterans of this championship, have both had a fantastic qualifying, so pretty much locked out the top 10. I think there's one driver within the top 10 that's from Van Amersfoort, but every other place in the top 10 is a high-tech or an US racing car. Alongside him on P2 will be his teammate of Edu Robinson, again from the US racing team. So just goes to show how much of a fantastic qualifying they have had. And then we come to the first of the high-tech drivers, and that is Leo Robinson in the number 6 car. Leo, great position to start from. I'm sure that you'll be wanting to lead out of turn 1. How are you feeling for this race?
Yeah, very confident. I know I can do the job. It's just up there. All I need to focus on is getting a good launch, especially since it's the first start of the season. So just need to get a good launch. Hopefully I'll be up there.
And you've got teammates around you. I'm sure there's been a conversation of just keeping things clean between you.
Yeah, we've had that, but I think I want to be looking forward, not backwards. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Good luck. Wish you best luck for this race. Right, we'll continue along because, of course, I need to show you this car. And this is the number 7 of Thomas Behrman. You will have just had our interview with Thomas a couple of minutes ago. I want to just give you a little bit of a look at his helmet, because it is a very, very cool helmet. Of course, you all recognise it. He is the younger brother, of course, of Ollie Behrman. Very, very similar helmet that he is running to his brother. I'm sure his brother will have given him a little piece of advice for this first race. He actually said, I'm sure, as you would have seen in the interview, that he had a little chat with him a couple of days ago. So he'll definitely be hopefully watching and supporting his brother. And then we come to another of the high-tech drivers, the first of our Red Bull liveries on the grid. This is Fionn McLaughlin. Now, he is starting his first F4 race. This will be his first race start in an F4 car. So I imagine a couple of nerves, but definitely we'll be hoping to have a good start and keep things clean, certainly with the teammates. I know we're about to get the 1 minute ball, but I'll just grab a quick word with him. Fionn, first race in F4, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's a new experience for me, so I'm just going to do my best and see how the result ends up.
And things have been going pretty well for you. You've had pace in all the sessions so far, so hoping you can be at the front.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, best of luck. We're going to get off the grid and enjoy this first race.
Well then, it is time for the formation lap. The drivers now with the task at hand of getting heat into the tyres for their first standing start of the season. Gabriel Gomez on pole position for this one. A pole position which he netted by almost 3/10 over his US Racing teammate Edu Robinson. Row number 2 of the grid belongs to Leo Sammy Robinson and Thomas Behrman. They were pretty closely matched as well, of course, the two high-tech teammates. Fionn McLaughlin is next alongside Luca Samalisto. As you can see, a lot of the high-tech and US Racing drivers well up there. The first of the Van Amersfoort cars, Maximilian Popov. He is alongside the Alpine Academy member Kabir Anurag, who returns to the Formula One Series this year, as does Maxime Breen alongside Andrea Kostic. That rounds out the top 10, of course, and next up is Enia Fry in the first of the Yenza Motorsport cars. He's alongside Sebastian Bach of AS Motorsport on row 6. Nina Gaidman is next. She is alongside Dante Vinci on row number 7. Row 8, Andrea Dupe alongside Kirill Kutskov. Good to see Matthew Racing with 3 cars this year up for their single entry. Bart Harrison is next, 17th alongside Simon Schranz, the sole car from Renauer Motorsport in the hands of the young Austrian. Artem Severikin starts 19th. He is alongside Theo Borenstein, rounding out the top 20. 21st place, Alicia Palmovsky in the one of the 2 Red Bull liveried Campos cars on the grid alongside Alexander Ruta. 23rd and 24th positions go to Joanne Chiconte and Peyton Westcott respectively. 25th Matilda Patz alongside Albert Hurup Larsen. 27th place on the grid, Rafaela Ferreira, that's the other Campos car, another one of the Red Bull liveries, alongside Georgi Zurawski, who is deputising for Guy Albag this weekend. Cornelia Olkuka is next, alongside Ava and Agnostiadis down in 30th place. She'll be looking to make up some positions from further back, and her little sister will be cheering her on. The little sister is a dog. So then, we are getting ready for the race, the first race of the 2025 Formula Winter Series season. And of course, for the first time this season in Winter Series broadcast, we've got to ready up for a standing start. I have to remind myself that they don't have to go 2 by 2 here. Of course, getting heat into those rear tyres is going to be important. They're going to be trying to get that last iota of temperature into the rear tyres in particular now as they roll onto the grid and get ready to launch.
Indeed so, and launching these cars is something that occasionally catches drivers out, particularly rookies. We did have one car stalled off the dummy grid. It wasn't a rookie driver, actually. It was Georgi Zurawski in the number 11 car, starting 28th on the grid. The AKM Motorsport machine did not launch with everybody else. He was the only staller that time. Let's hope we don't get any on the actual start to the race, because there are 30 of these cars about to go pouring off into turn 1, and we'd rather like them all to arrive at the bottom of the hill in one piece. That being said, it's a treacherous first sequence of corners here, always is, particularly for open wheel single-seaters. So easy to tangle wheels, lose a wing, puncture a tyre. That will very much be on the minds, particularly of the driver starting in the midfield, and they'll just want to try and settle down, get into a rhythm, clean start. Zurawski, in fact, being told he has to start from the pit lane. That message, I fear, may have come a little bit late for him, since he's probably already on the grid, so keep an eye on maybe a penalty to come for him. But yeah, fingers crossed, Adam, for a clean start.
Zurawski's spot is vacant on the grid, so hopefully that message came through before it appeared on our screens. The marshal awaits with the green flag at the back of the field. The lights will go on in just a few moments. The young stars have aligned on the grid, and they are going to fire down into the first corner. Who will lead the first race of the 2025 Formula Winter Series on the first lap? It's a good start from the outside of the front row, both of them though with a bit of excess wheel spin, but it looks to me as though perhaps Robinson has got it. In fact, no, sorry, Gabriel Gomez has got it. There's some contact further back. Thomas Behrman getting into it there with Maximilian Popov, I believe that is. They arch 3-4 wide further back, and one of the high-tech cars has got to the front. I believe that will be Leo Robinson in the number 6, and there's been a traffic jam further back. Carbon fibre is flying, and so is the number 6 high-tech car.
Although having to defend on the drop down into turn 5, Gomez wants the lead back. He's on the outside line on the way in, trying to tee up the better exit, which he has. They're wheel-to-wheel for the race lead as they head up the hill for the first time. The inside line will belong to Leo Robinson when they reach the top of the hill, and so car number 6 stays in front for now, but he got a better launch than both of the front row starters, and as they were so busy trying to outfox each other into the first turn, they crowded each other to the inside. He went down the outside where no one else was and found the momentum on corner exit to get the lead. So brilliant stuff from Leo Robinson, and he needs to try and get his head down now and break away if he can.
Absolutely right. Everyone else just picking the bones through the first few corners. Let's see who the ups and downs are as we see the number 11 of Zurawski being worked on. So that stall was more than just an issue of clutch control. Looks like that car is having an issue. Not the start AKM Motorsport would have wanted there, as running ever so slightly wide there was Leo Robinson. Gabriel Gomez sensing an opportunity here, setting himself up for a run over the crest and down the main straight in the slipstream of Robinson. Here comes the traditional swerving left to right, right to left and back again. But here comes Gomez all the same, the momentum carrying him to the outside, but Robinson may well take his right to squeeze here. And in fact, Gomez says, I'm not going to let you even try that. Ducks behind for second place for the time being. Robinson wisely covers the inside line into turn 3. There's Behrman still running after that slight contact he had at the first corner, so that's good to see for him. And Fionn McLaughlin, of course, in his first race, they're in 4th position. Worth mentioning that he is a debutant, of course. Red Bull Academy driver. He is very highly rated coming out of karting, where he has been a front runner. But to see a rookie up in 4th place earlier on brings to mind Macho Guadish last year in the Formula Winter Series. We've seen the newcomers be quick before.
Yes, and very much a part of this lead group, because with Robinson defending at the front, it's really sort of backing everybody else together. This will be frustrating for Gomez, because he was, as you said, 3/10 quicker than anybody else in qualifying, but then Robinson, both of the Robinsons, Behrman, McLaughlin, Samalisto, all within a tenth of each other, so that lot are all pretty evenly matched. Gomez would have been very much hoping he could have escaped from what was probably going to be a very good battle for second place and dominate the race, but it's not panned out that way. He'll want to get past Leo Robinson as quickly as possible here, but Leo, unsurprisingly, not making that easy for him, really defending the inside line into the penultimate corner. That, I suspect, is why he was wide here a lap ago. Doesn't run quite so wide this time, but Gabriel Gomez is just as close as he was last time by, and again tries to get a good run through the final turn, up and over the hill into the slipstream, and it could be game on again heading towards turn 1.
Turn 1 isn't really the overtaking place. Turn 3, turn 5, but Gomez is determined to make it work for him again, given the outside line by Robinson. This time it looks like he's going to hang on around the outside. He does end up getting pushed out onto the runoff area. He's still persisting around the outside at 3. Got to be careful that his teammate Eddie Robinson doesn't try and find a way by. That's exactly what's going to happen now. It's Eddie Robinson challenging, because Leo Robinson squeezed Gabriel Gomez out there.
Yeah, as is his right to do, I suppose, but that was pretty physical stuff, and it really has put Gomez on the back foot. He's defending down the hill to the outside line. Looks Eddie Robinson, but then Finn McLaughlin part of this as well in 4th position, trying to find a way through. Sensational racing so far. Anea Fry, by the way, has set the fastest lap of the race to Anne in 8th place. It shows how much the leaders are tripping over each other, and the cars running further down the order are able to go a little bit more quickly. But slight shift in the dynamic now, maybe, with Eddie Robinson coming up to challenge Gabriel Gomez. Has that let the race leader off the hook?
Quite possibly so. A word to Nina Gaidman. She was running as high as 9th, now in 10th place, as we see there the number 8 car of Lucas Amalisto challenging Fionn McLaughlin for 4th position. But Gaidman running 9th, now 10th place. She moved up a few places. Palmovsky up to 16th place as well. She's working her way from outside the top 20. The two US Racing cars here side by side. Samalisto and Kostic now, after Samalisto had a look at McLaughlin, has unfortunately fallen into the trap of his other US Racing teammates. And of course it is all US Racing and High-Tech in the top 7, but it's High-Tech that lead the way with Leo Robinson.
Indeed it is, and all of a sudden at the end of this 3rd lap of the race, things are a little calmer than they had been. 6.5 tenths now the lead for Robinson, back to Gomez in 2nd, then Eddie Robinson 3rd, 4th place Finn McLaughlin, battle on for 5th still between Samalisto and Kostic, with Reem, Fry, Anurag now fastest lap holder, and Nina Gaidman completing the top 10. Nina, as you said, is fairly comfortably the top female driver, although a shout out to Alicia Palmovsky inside the top 15 now, as up the inside we get a challenge into turn number 3, and is that going to work? No, not quite. On the way out of the corner, that was Thomas Behrman, wasn't it? On the recovery drive, trying to get back ahead of Bart Harrison, but so far at least to no avail.
Yeah, down in 13th place now, Thomas Behrman, of course, starting from 4th on the grid. Not necessarily how he would have wanted that to pan out. Maxim Reem getting a track limit warning. They have to be careful, of course, to not exceed track limits too many times. If you do it more than, I think, 5 times, or 5 times onwards, you start to get penalties. And they can stack up very quickly, especially at a circuit like this where there are a lot of parts where you can extend, but you shouldn't. Simon Schran's also on the move well as well. He's up to 14th place, just ahead of Alicia Palmovsky. But at the moment, at front, it is Robinson in the comfortable lead. Kabir Anurag with the fastest lap for now, taking that away from Enia Fry, but at the front it is a pretty fast moving pack. Was that Behrman making up more places there? It was one of the High-Tech cars. In fact, no, sorry, that was Nina Gaidman, I think, in amongst it. All the same, less than 5 seconds separate the top 10 as they come across the line now to complete the 4th lap of the race. And of course, 22 minutes plus 1 lap left to go. So once the clock hits 0, it is the penultimate lap. Here comes the number 8 car of Samalisto. Also challenging further back there is Enya Fry. And that was a bit scary there between himself and Maxime Ream. They both continue on, but Fry is going to drop down outside of the top 10, potentially at least a 10th place, as Nina Gaidman now moves back up to 9th.
That was a shame, really, for Enea, because he got the inside line, but the door was closed in his face. Now a challenge on further up. That's Samalisto versus Finn McLaughlin, and Samalisto up into 4th position. So that's quite a significant pass. They've dropped away slightly from the leading 3, but Lucas Samalisto into 4th position. Can McLaughlin fight back? The answer for now, at least, is no, and maybe would be better served working with Luca to try and close back in on the leading 3, who themselves had been separating, but a good first sector on this lap for Gabriel Gomez means he's inching back towards the leader.
Have to note the battle scar on the front of Fionn McLaughlin's nose cone, which I'm not sure if that was there from the first lap or not, but certainly it has been added at some point during this race. Whether it was just now as Samalisto got past him or previous is up for debate. Andrea Kostic now just following him in another of the US Racing cars. The second place rookie behind McLaughlin on the circuit is Thomas Behrman, all the way down in 12th position. So McLaughlin again really showing out here on his first appearance in junior single-seater racing. He sounded remarkably reserved down there on the grid with Izzy as well, not really picking up on any of the nerves you might reasonably expect someone to have in his situation. But the Red Bull Academy driver who very nearly won an FIA World Karting Championship, very much one to watch. Alicia Palmovsky, Maffei Racing's Kutskov, and many others involved in a scrap here down towards the first corner. This is the battle for 14th position, 6 cars strong, and well, they all managed to keep that together well. I thought there might be a collision down there on the approach to turn 1.
Yes, Kirill Kutskov on the inside line there. I thought that was going to end in a tangling of wheels myself, but they have all managed to get away with it. We should give them more credit, maybe. They do all know what they're doing, these youngsters, and they have honed their racecraft through years of karting to a very high level, most of them, and no reason why they shouldn't then be able to bring that forward into single-seater racing as well. Lead gap then down by 2/10 on the previous lap. Now Gabriel Gomez has got the fastest lap of the race, 1:45.984, about 4/10 slower than his pole position time. Not bad a few laps into a race run, but on this lap it looks like Leo Sammy Robinson is just starting to sort of regroup, fastest of anybody in Sector 2, so the gap ebbing and flowing, and this is why Gomez would have been so intent on getting past Robinson in the early stages, because once things settle down in these races, because they're all so evenly matched, it can be a little bit tricky to find a way through. We are only a third of the way through the race. He's got time, but so far Leo Robinson has an answer to all of the questions posed to him by Gabriel Gomez.
Georgi Zurashki is now out on the circuit, so the AKM Motorsport number 11 car has joined the race, albeit about 5 laps down on the rest of the field, but at least getting out there on to the Portimão circuit as we see some moving and shaking further back. Here is Thomas Behrman pressuring the number 71 of Maxime Ream, so that is now fighting for 11th place, I believe that is. Behrman around the outside of the 21. So sorry, this is with Bart Harrison. It was another of the high-tech cars further up the field that caught me out there. But Behrman doing a very good job getting himself to the inside line and past Bart Harrison. That then being for 11th place.
Although, has Bart got it back? I think
yes,
he did, yes. It looked to me like maybe Behrman was going a little bit wide into 3, which he did, outbraked himself. It was a lovely jink to the inside. Couldn't quite get the car stopped. Now Kirill Kutskov up the inside of somebody else. This time, Simon Schranz losing a position. So Kutskov picking his way through the order quite nicely. 13th position now for Kirill, who started, I think, a few places. Yes, 16th place on the grid, but I think had maybe lost some ground at the opening lap, and picking his way through nicely. Behrman having another go now, getting this move done. I still don't think he's quite got past Bart Harrison though, because he was on the outside line heading into the high-speed left-hander. We'll pick those up in a moment or two, I'm sure. Wherever you look, though, Adam, rather predictably, there are battles to be enjoyed.
Yes, and it was a battle between Nina Gaidman and Maxime Ream that I'd spotted earlier on. I thought Maxime had fallen a little bit further than he had. So Nina Gaidman now up to 8th place, of course, inheriting after Enya Fry had his moment down a couple of laps ago between himself and Ream, and that was put into the logbook, as it were. It was noted, but we'll have to see if anything else is done about that. For now, though, Nina Gaidman certainly on a charge here. Never finished in the top 10 during the British F4 season in 2024, but she showed out well in Zandvoort and F1 Academy, and she's doing so again here in Formula Wind Series. Look to the outside there of Maxime Ream, but that might give Fry an opportunity to dive to the inside. Certainly Enya thinks so. Has a little look, but doesn't manage to find a way by, and Sebastian Bach may be able to capitalise on that from 10th place. Of course, Sebastian Bach, another name to watch out for AS Motorsport. He's the rookie champion from last year's Nordic 4 season.
Nina Gaidman looks really up for it, though, doesn't she? To the outside again now of Maxime Ream. So only a corner ago she was defending her position. Now she's gliding all over the back and indeed around the outside of Maxime Ream. Now, was that within track limits? Thankfully not our decision to make, but certainly she's forged a path to the inside line anyway. Is the move going to be made? Oh, not quite. I think Maxime just got the door closed. Might actually be for the best if you are Nina Gaidman, because you don't want to be accused of overtaking off the circuit after all, and she slots back in line behind. But Nina Gaidman, 13th on the grid, going for 7th, and looks like the quickest car in this bunch. If she could get through, she may well be able to escape up the road.
Yeah, very good point. That high-tech car looking pretty stable underneath her. You'll note the TGR on those cars as well. It's been confirmed, some of the journalists in the paddock. That is, of course, part of the Toyota Gazoo Racing partnership that Hi-Tech is starting to forge, and that's very exciting for them. For now, though, Maxime Ream is driving exclusively through the mirrors, and I will say as well, we of course were looking at Kirill Kutskov, and it seems that now that he has gotten past to the front of that pack of cars, he is starting to gap them. He was a good half-second clear last time across the stripe, and it looks like he is just starting to distance himself, a former FIA CIK World Champion, and someone that I know Maffei Racing are very excited to have in their garage.
So Nina Gaidman not with the best run that time through turn 1, so that battle just sort of put on ice for the time being. At the front of the field, you're not missing anything really. Leo Robinson still 7/10 up the road from Gabriel Gomez, although I wouldn't say that looks like 7/10 anymore, so not a great first sector maybe for the race leader. Actually almost identical, I reckon, so yeah, not much changing between the two of them. They are remarkably evenly matched, this lead group. Adu Robinson still 3rd, Samalisto 4th, Finn McLaughlin even is 5th position. Those two dropping away slightly now from the leading 3. As they plunge downhill, there are the leading group of 5 still all in the same shot. Quite a few cars in the pits, by the way. There is one of them, that's Johan Kont in the pit lane, Cameron Anurag as well, and Zarashki, I'm afraid, is back in the pit lane too. Looks like they're sending the number 12 car back on its way, but there you can see the other two pit visitors. Well, one of them minus a driver, which is never usually a good sign. I think that might be Anurag's car and Zarashki's car, I think, being worked on in the background. So a few drivers not having the ideal start to their Formula Winter Series. Neither, I'm afraid, is Lucas Samalisto, who's been given a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. We are but only just halfway through the race. That's rather early to be picking up track limits penalties.
Yes, that is going to only stack up, unfortunately, for Samalisto, and he's probably going to have a few drivers within 5 seconds of him. At the moment, actually, it is only McLaughlin, which is good news, I suppose, in a sense for Lucas Samalisto. But once you've had that 5 seconds, then very quickly they add up, because for each additional track limit, you add another 5 seconds, and that could stack up. Alicia Palmovsky, meanwhile, in amongst the battle there, down in the teen position. She's dropped down to 20th, actually, so I think Maximilian Popov and a couple of others have gotten past there, as we saw that scrum down the main straight. Meanwhile, Jens's Enya Fry coming under pressure here from Sebastian Bach for 9th position. The 20 car having to be made wide here by the driver who got a few very positive results last year in Formula Wind Series and ended his 2024, I think, with some of his best results yet in F4 competition. And of course, that's always what you want to do, end that year on a high, start a new one, hopefully in much the same way. And I think a finish in the overall points, down to top 10, of course, the points in this series, that would probably tick the box for Enya Fry.
The first driver on the outside looking in as far as points is concerned is car number 7, Thomas Behrmann, but he is racing up to the back of this group. There he is in shot, number 7, Thomas Behrmann on the previous lap, 1.3 seconds quicker than the group ahead. So, yeah, this is certainly looking better for Thomas. What a shame he lost that ground at the start, though, because this is the kind of pace that he arguably should have had. There was a lock-up, I think, there for Nina Gademan, maybe, as they dropped down into the tight left-hander, but she managed to make the apex and continues to apply pressure to Maxime Ream. But yeah, what has for the last 5 or 6 minutes been a 4-way scrap for 7th, very much a 5-way fight now, and it's the car at the back of the quintet who has been by far the fastest.
Yes, absolutely right. So we'll see how he tries to now try and get past, at least. That's going to be hard work for... Oh, well, the US Racing cars, are they switching there? Was that a switch of position for Sam Alisto? Yes, it was. Sam Alisto getting past Edu Robinson. That is, well, unfortunately not going to be of much material gain for Sam Alisto, given the track limit penalty. We already know the number 8 car to have assigned to it. Finn McLaughlin will now be hoping for an opportunity to try and find his way past as well. If he can get a podium on his racing debut, that would be amazing.
Thomas Behrmann, 5-second penalty, exceeding track limits. What a shame that is. So, yeah, Thomas has been going very quickly, but perhaps by inventing his own line around turn 1, which seems to be where most of the drivers have been exceeding track limits. So we figured that track limits would be a talking point in these Formula Winter Series races, and already they're affecting a few of the high-profile drivers, including Lucas Amelisto, who, as you said, without it, would now be staring down the barrel of a podium finish. Actually, at the moment, looks quicker than Gabriel Gomez, who's really slipped away from Leo Robinson. Over a second at the end of the previous lap was that lead gap. And Sam Alisto still, by the looks of it, having lap times disallowed for track limits. So that 5 seconds could soon be increasing.
Quite possibly, yes. That 5 seconds, as we saw last week here in Portimão in some of the GT classes, can very quickly become 15, 20 seconds if they are not careful. McLaughlin might have a good run here on Edu Robinson as the top 5 come across the line once again, split by 2.5 seconds. So Leo Robinson can't afford to put many wheels wrong in this race. The cars directly behind him do pose a threat, even though he's controlling it with an 8/10 gap for the time being. McLaughlin just, I guess, hoping for a door to open here. For now, he's stuck behind Robinson. And of course, we know that in these F4 cars, while they are lower down the food chain from a downforce perspective over the rest of the single-seaters, dirty air is still a factor in a high-speed, some of the high-speed corners, such as we have here at Portimão.
Thomas Behrmann is in the pit lane, I'm afraid, so maybe has some sort of other underlying issue. We did have that contact earlier, remember? Maybe some lasting damage, although the car's been going rather quickly, hasn't it? We've also got yellow flags at turn 3, and I know not why. So, Anea Frey is dropping down the timing tower, and that is why. Anea is off the road on corner exit as well. An odd place really to end up in a single-seater. But anyway, out of the car is getting Anea. That may be a safety car period incoming then, which is a bit of a shame, because the next point I was about to make is that, whilst it's not terribly relevant since he's got a penalty coming, Lucas Amelisto at the moment is quicker than the leader. You really do feel that if he got past Gomez, he could pose a problem to Leo Robinson. Leo could let him go, of course, and as long as he finishes it within 5 seconds, would still inherit the win. But Lucas Amelisto showing some impressive pace. That pace, though, may now be brought to an abrupt stop if we require a safety car, which I think we may.
Yeah, for Samalisto, that will be disastrous. The safety car has come out, so that 5-second penalty is suddenly looking a lot more costly for Lucas Samalisto. Of course, it would as well for Thomas Behrman had he not just been consigned to the pit lane. But this will open up some opportunities, of course, for some of the drivers who are making their way through. Kirill Kutskov, who's now up to P11, for instance. That could give him the opportunity to breach the overall top 10. And someone like Nina Gaidman, who was looking very fast earlier on, if she can keep some heat in the tyres and hopefully hasn't spent too much of the tyres in that opening phase of the race, then perhaps Nina could even try and forge for the top half dozen or so. Meanwhile, I understand that we do have a replay to look back at here, Andy.
Yes, this may explain what happened maybe to Anea Frey. Yes, sort of. So I think maybe Anea had a helping hand there slightly as they came round the right-hander there. Sebastian Bach, was it behind?
That was, yeah.
I think it was. We didn't see the contact, so I can't say for definite it happened, but the cars were coming together as they went round the apex and out of shot.
Yes, as they exited frame, they were certainly close, let's put it that way. The 94 there running wide, that was Peyton Westcott. She's currently running 22nd. The American racer. Great to welcome Van Amersfoort Racing, of course, into the Formula Winter Series. And I think we're going to take a look at something else that our camera crew picked up here on circuit. And this is Peyton Westcott going wheel to wheel. Okay, wow, flying as well on the exit of the first corner. That will have been an uncomfortable landing for young Peyton. Hopefully all okay there, but last cars that you want to get air in is a carbon tub single-seater, as unfortunately a few drivers have found out down the years. Peyton, actually, last year, she did have a broken wrist back in June, but was still persisting and competing in the OK Senior class of the European Championship and in the Champions of the Future Academy program. And so she was continuing to race on both sides of the Atlantic while recovering with that broken wrist. So she's clearly made of stern stuff, is Peyton Westcott. Maybe a bit of a shake-up there with the airborne moment. She'll be trying to forge her way now into the top 20 from 22nd in the safety car queue. Alicia Palmovsky's back up to 18th position, incidentally, still second among the female drivers behind Nina Gaidman within the top 10. Alicia's been up and down that the second half of the team position so far in this race. We heard her alluding to it in the very beginning of the broadcast in the intro package, that she's getting used to the new car, the new challenge that she's facing with the full F4 spec Tatuus F4 T421, and particularly under braking, trying to suss the car out. And for now, she does appear to have done so, although she will be starting from further back in race 2 as well, because she had a poor second qualifying session. So Alicia, I think, is going to have a fairly tough weekend here at Portimão, but if she can make her way into the top 15 or so before this race concludes, I think that will be a really positive result for her.
Yeah, she obviously had a good start, didn't she, and then sort of slipped backwards a little bit, but she's very much learning. She mentioned, didn't she, the brakes in particular.
Yeah.
She was struggling to wrap her head around. That will come with experience and with time, and I think it's really important that she doesn't sort of let that get to her too much. It's a difficult grid to jump into this. This is a supremely talented group of young single-seater stars, and Alicia is one of them, and will certainly be up there, I think, by the end of the season, but just needs to bed herself in a little bit over this first weekend. That's one of the great things, though, about the Formula Winter Series. You get plenty of track time, don't you? You've got testing, you've got 2 qualifying sessions, and then 3 races, and they're lengthy races too, so you get lots of seat time, and in theory, by the end of the weekend, quite a lot of laps should have been completed, and you'll learn a lot as those laps go by. There, though, is Leah Robinson, race leader, and Gabrielle Gomez will be thinking, right, okay, I've got another chance here maybe upon the restart, albeit maybe only for a couple of racing laps, but this is a chance for Gabrielle to close back in on Leah Robinson and try to make it a NUS Racing victory as opposed to a high-tech victory, and that really will be the only result I think that Gabrielle will be satisfied with, having done so well in qualifying earlier on this morning. To have lost that lead at the start would have been quite a bit of a knock. There is an air fryer's car, meanwhile, being hoiked out of the way. No major damage done. I suspect he probably just stalled the car when he spun, couldn't get it started. And that, unfortunately, was the end of his first race of the season.
Yeah, as I said, NEF Fry back in the series again this year, which is great to see Jenza back with a driver who was with us last year. Managed to secure his first top 5 in Italian F4 in the summer at Le Castellet. Best finish here in Formula Wind Series last year came with an 8th position. I think that was at Valencia, and unfortunately was on to at least match that seemingly in the battle with Nina Gademan, but we'll now have to try and regroup ahead of the second race. Less than 3 minutes left on the clock, still awaiting hopefully positive news about the safety car coming in, although of course we did see the truck there just less than a minute ago still hoisting the number 20 car. It's going to be tight. I think we're probably going to have one more lap under safety car.
I think you're probably right, yes, which will take us dangerously close, won't it, to the end of the 30 minutes. Of course, we have that extra lap to run at the end, but our previous safety car lap was 4 minutes, so I suspect, well, definitely if we do another lap of safety car, we'll go beyond the end of the 30 minutes, and it could be a one-lap shootout at the end. Just looking at a couple of the other drivers who might have moved up the order a little bit. Sebastian Bach has picked up a handful of places to be in the top 10. Also, Bart Harrison, 10th place, 17th on the grid, and that is pretty impressive, really. Like I said, not an easy grid to work your way through, but we've had quite a few big movers in this race, which sort of suggests, doesn't it, that there were a few of them who maybe didn't quite get the maximum out of themselves and the car in qualifying, but now they're in race conditions, have been able to make their way to the front. Safety car is coming around to do another lap very quickly, sliding its way off the final corner. So, yeah, a one-lap shootout, I think.
I think that was the cause of the tyre squealing that we heard. I think it might be a call from race control to hustle that car around so we can get this race started again. Of course, come what may at this point, the clock will hit 0 before we get back around the circuit, and hopefully it will be a one-lap dash from there. But as in Formula One, it's a Mercedes safety car leading the way, and I don't know who is playing Bernd Mailander this weekend, but it did sound as if it was a spirited run through turn 15. The fabulous Autodromo Internacional do Algarve here at Portimão. I was considering this in the paddock. I didn't get a definitive answer, but some of these drivers, I believe in the region of a half dozen of them, were born after the circuit opened. And old Hectors like me still consider this quite a new circuit, having been opened in October 2008. And yet, there are drivers now competing in Formula 4 on the circuit that are younger than the circuit itself, which is horrifying. But we have to make peace with these things, don't we? It's only going to keep happening. Of course, we're seeing the likes of Andrea Kimi Antonelli. I was commentating on him in F4 less than 3 years ago. There he is in F1 already. And I'm sure some of these young talents may have a similar ascendancy. And of course, there are some clues in the paddock, those with Red Bull liveries, those with Alpine liveries. I think we've got no fewer than 5 drivers currently signed to an F1 academy of some description in some manner, and that is hugely exciting to see. Right, the clock has hit 0. Are we going to get that safety car out of the way? I do certainly hope so, and yes, we are. The lights are out, and the Mercedes is once again hustling, and it is now going to be Leo Robinson who takes charge again for the high-tech TGR team. Gabriel Gomez senses one late opportunity here to try and strike. He's going to have to try and predict when that high-tech car launches away. I suspect the pedal will hit the metal very soon indeed. No, is it going to be a long hold from Leo Sammy Robinson? He really is making them wait. I'm sure there are some drivers further back getting impatient there. Seemingly goes Robinson. He has got himself a car length maybe 2 by the end of the straight over Gabriel Gomez. That's gone well for him. Simon Schranz peels into the pit lane. Bart Harrison getting very close with Kirill Kutskov further back in the field as well. I think there might have been a drama or 2 further back as everybody stacked up behind Robinson. 3 wide into the first corner as well on the fringes of the top 10. Leo Robinson just generally wide in the first corner, and Gabriel Gomez is right on his gearbox.
Yeah, Gabriel Gomez sensing an opportunity. Maybe Leo Robinson's tyres aren't quite in the window anymore, and Gomez is definitely close enough to have a go into turn 5. Defensive move from Robinson. Gomez to the outside line. He tried this, remember, on lap 1, got a good exit and cut back to the left-hand side of the road up the hill. Can he do the same again on this final lap of the race? Yes, he can. Side by side up the hill they go, and Gabriel Gomez, I think, has his nose ahead. Who will appear ahead? It is absolutely neck and neck. There's no grip on the outside. He's up the curb, and somehow still Leo Robinson leads, but watch for Samalisto. No, not close enough to get to take advantage, so it's a 2-horse race. They're neck and neck again as they drop down the hill, and Leo Robinson, if he wins this race, will have put up quite the defensive drive.
Yes, he will. Here comes Gabriel Gomez to the inside at turn 10. Manages to get the car stopped. Of course, Samalisto has the penalty. So, yes, he's in third for now. We had a spin further back there. I believe that would have been Maximilian Popov who went into a spin there for Van Amersfoort Racing. It could have been Dante Vinci. They were running pretty much line astern. But it looks like it will be Gabriel Gomez that leads them to the line. Samalisto is right there with Leo Robinson. But even if he crosses the line second, he will be demoted several positions. But for Gabriel Gomez, he has managed on the very final lap of the race to inherit the first win of the 2025 Formula Winter Series season. What a result there for Gabriel Gomez. They all come streaming across the line. And it is Gomez from Robinson from Samalisto. We expect that name to drop. And I think it will be Eddie Robinson, his Us Racing teammate, that inherits third place there. And just coming across the line towards the rear was Dante Vinci. So it was Dante that spun. Popov was just ahead of him. And it was Dante Vinci dropping down to 26th. That's a costly spin out then at the very end of the race. We had a few drivers picking the bones and making up positions towards the end there. But unfortunately, the opposite happening to Dante Vinci. So Gomez, Robinson, Samalisto, Edu Robinson, Kostic, Fian McLaughlin, Maxime Ream, Sebastian Bach, Nina Gaidman and Bart Harrison, your top 10 as it stands provisionally. I think Kostic there got past Finn McLaughlin as well. So that is a move up into the top 5 for the Us Racing driver. 4 Us Racing cars in the top 5, with Leo Robinson being the only exception. It will be gutting for Leo to have lost the lead there at the very end. As Andy said towards the start of that final lap, it just looked like the car wasn't quite up to temperature, tyres not quite up to temperature in the same way as the Us Racing machine behind him, and that unfortunately was enough to cost him the race win. So disappointment potentially for the high-tech driver, but still a very positive start for the 15-year-old to be second position on the grid. Of course, despite being 15, did do a full season in the British F4 Championship last year. Has managed to just about do that since he's a February birthday. Has already got a full season under his belt, a full season in which he took 3 victories, so perhaps no surprise to see him up at the sharp end once again in the Formula Winter Series. However, it was the Us Racing machine that managed to get by on the final lap. The number 8 car pulling up to a provisional third place, but the penalty has just been applied as anticipated for Samalisto. So Samalisto pulls up to third, but he won't end up classified third. Where will Lucas Samalisto be classified? The answer is 13th on the grid. So Lucas Samalisto, 13th in the standings there after that penalty for track limits, unfortunately, pulls up to the podium all the same. It will be Gomez from Robinson, our top 3. Gabriel Gomez, Leo Robinson and Edu Robinson. But No question over the winner, Gabriel Gomez, putting in a great shift for us racing, and celebrates there down in Parc Fermé. The Us Racing crew congratulating their driver. Of course, the Us Racing team, the German team, co-founded by Ralf Schumacher. Gomez, a multi-time OK karting champion in the Brazilian and the Italian series, and did some Spanish F4 last year. Best finish of 4th place. I believe this will be his very first win in single-seaters, therefore. So Gabriel Gomez, I think, is going to be smiling down there in the pit lane. I'm sure Izzy is going to have a jolly interview with him. I think that's going to be a very happy young racing driver. The top 5 ultimately covered by 1.6 seconds. The time penalties have now, I believe, all been applied on screen. Another one for the 66 car of Dante Vinci, I think, got a penalty applied for track limits. But, of course, we saw him spinning on the final lap, so doesn't actually affect his result at all. Thomas Behrmann did come back out onto the circuit, incidentally, and finished in 25th place. So Behrmann did return to the track. But not the start that young Thomas would have wanted to his campaign. Of course, we'll start a bit further up the order for race number 2, having already had the qualifying session there for them. So not having to start from 25th for race 2 or anything like that. And I understand that down at the pits, Izzy Browning is ready with our first race winner of the season, Gabriel Gomez, celebrating what I believe will be his first single-seater victory.
I am indeed with our first winner of the season, Gabriel. You started on pole and you've taken the win, but really that didn't tell the whole story of the race, did it?
Yeah, it was a very difficult race, to be honest. I did a big mistake on the first lap in the first corner. I did a mistake on the braking point at T1. I lost it and I lost the first position. I go to P2. And then the race was very difficult with the dirty air. It was so difficult to be close to Robinson. Was with this track with the dirty air is like really difficult to follow the other driver close. And then was the race was when I think it was finished. It arrives one safety car and then we go all in for the last lap, and then I think I did a good job in the last lap. We had a great battle. He was clean with me, I was clean with him, and we did a great battle until the last corners, and I managed to overtake him and win it.
So when you saw the safety car come out then, you must have been pretty happy in the car that the thought that you might be able to get a one-lap dash to take the win.
Yeah, because was almost all the chance go off, and then with the safety car I come back for the race. I was very ready because I know it was the last opportunity I will have in this race.
And one race left today and another one tomorrow. What are you thinking for the race later on today?
I think it will be really difficult with the tires, to manage the tires, because this track consumes a lot of the tires, but I think we can do also a good job in the next race.
All right, well, we'll let you get up to the podium. Congratulations, our first winner of the season.
Great to see Us Racing's Brazilian sensation taking a win in his first attempt in the Formula Winter Series. An exciting race for sure, some late twists involved as well. And I believe in the next few moments we will take a look at some highlights of that race. And in fact, I think we are going to try and get some more insights from down on the podium before we go to highlights as well. I think it depends on which drivers as he happens to come across down there. As you can see, The clouds are still present. We are going to have to consider the weather, I think, a little bit for race number 2. We did see broken clouds going into the afternoon was the verdict from the radar. But as Andy and Izzy alluded to variously, and I tried to resist, the weather is coming in over the circuit a little bit. So let's hope that race 2 is dry as well. But for now, we can see another driver down with Izzy. Let's go and have a chat.
Yes, I am now with our P2 driver, Leo Robinson. Leo, not the way that you would have wanted the race to end, I'm sure, because you were really controlling things out there.
Yeah, it was in the first couple laps I pushed hard, but it was all right when I had the gap so I could manage the tyre wear. And as soon as the gap closed, it was like, I went into turn 1 after the safety car restart. I was like, oh no. But yeah, P2, not what I wanted, but I'll take it.
Yeah, not what you wanted, as you just said. But when you saw the safety car come out, did your heart kind of sink a little bit?
Well, I thought it would give me a chance to get tyres back, but as soon as I went into turn 1, I was like, oh no. It was game over from then, but we'll go again next time. We'll make it better and definitely not let them win another one.
Yeah, as you said, there's another race later on today, so another chance. And I'm sure you would have learnt a lot from this race that you can take into the race this afternoon.
Yeah, it's the longest race I've ever done. Definitely with the tyre wear. In England, you just go flat out, but here it's just a bit different. But we've had our first race and now it's time to go and win the next one.
Yeah, tyre wear is something that Gabriel was just talking to me about as well. How tricky is that round here?
Yeah, I could tell from the first couple of laps it spread out a bit. I had the advantage with the tyre wear, so I can manage it nicely. But you drop off like 2 seconds a lap, so when you drop off first, you real disadvantage. You just have to keep the front left just working and just keep it alive. But we didn't manage to do it that time.
Well, another chance later on today. We'll let you get up to the podium and we'll see you later on. Congratulations as our P2 driver. Understandably disappointed, but another chance later on today.
Yeah, we'll have a shot at trying to claim a win again later on today, as you said, Izzy. And yeah, understandable that he's frustrated there. You could see the tyre wear building on those Pirellis as the race went on, especially on the primary contact patch. As you can see, the cars quite well cambered on the front axle, several of them. So the contact patch towards the inside shoulder of the tyre. And yeah, definitely having to manage, of course, so many fast corners here, at least mid-speed corners, and quite a few of them are right-handers as well. So very much a right-hand predominant circuit. That affects the left side tyres. And as he said, he went into turn 1 and he knew that perhaps he was in a bit of trouble. And certainly that came up trumps for Gabriel Gomez, who I think spent most of the lap there nipping on the heels of his adversary. And finally, Gomez found a way through. But Robinson sounded dogged there as well. We're not going to let them win another one, he said. And we'll have to see whether that premonition proves to be accurate later on in our second race. As he alluded to, we are going live again today at 3 o'clock with some more Formula Winter Series action, which we're very excited to see. And I believe we can take a look now at some of the highlights from that first race. So the lights went out for the first time on the left side of the front row. Pole sitter Gabriel Gomez got a decent start, but it was Leo Robinson who got the best of all. He was around the outside at turn 1, didn't manage to move into the lead at the very first juncture. Thomas Behrman had a bit of a collision further back with Maximilian Popov in the Van Amersfoort racing car, and by the time they got to turn 3, it was Leo Robinson in the lead. Georgi Zurawski, unfortunately, having some dramas with his AKM Motorsport car. He started the race about 5 laps after the rest of the field. Meanwhile, Robinson was under pressure at the front from Gomez. High-tech versus us racing. Feels like it could be the story of the season based on that first race. Bit of a lean there from Robinson in the early stages. It seemed like Gabriel Gomez kept getting the run around turn 15, the final corner of the circuit. however, being pushed out wide there at the exit of turn 3. That almost allowed Edu Robinson past him. Enia Fry, unfortunately, making some contact there with Maxime Ream, and that wouldn't be the last time we saw the number 20 car in trouble. Further back, Ian McLaughlin making some moves, trying to find his way past Lucas Amalisto. And Alicia Palmovsky, another Red Bull back driver for Campos, also moving up the field, as was Kirill Kutskov for Maffei Racing. This was Thomas Behrman and Bart Harrison having a duel just outside the top 10. Behrman trying to recover from 4th on the grid. Some close gearbox to gearbox stuff, unfortunately. Enia Fry receiving what looked to be a little bit of a tap there from AS Motorsports. Sebastian Bach, that sent him into a spin. Peyton Westcott having a drama as well as she went wide at the first corner, and then the safety car was out to recover the number 20 of Fry. And with 1 lap left on the screens, we went racing once again, and it was evident that the lead could change hands, because immediately Leo Robinson was under pressure from Gabriel Gomez. Gomez trying to find any way he could to get through. The outside at turn 8 didn't work, but the inside at turn 10 did. The 78 car through into the race lead. The number 6, bit of a lock-up there on the last lap from Robinson, trying to salvage that win, but it wasn't to be. Gabriel Gomez it is who wins the first Formula Wind Series race of 2025. An early championship lead, therefore, for him. Leo Robinson, 2nd place for High Tech. Edu Robinson, 3rd place, and no relation for Us Racing. Andrea Kostic in 4th. Finn McLaughlin in 5th place. Maxime Ream in P6. Sebastian Bach in 7th. Nina Gaidman, the first of our female trophy drivers, she was in P8 for High Tech, ahead of Bart Harrison and Kirill Kutskov, claiming the first Maffei Racing top 10 for that team in Formula Winter Series. Maximilian Popov in 11th, Artem Severikin in 12th place, and Lucas Samalisto in 13th. In 14th position, it was Andrea Dupe, Theo Borenstein in 15th, Alicia Palmovsky in 16th, Matilda Putz in 17th place. Great to see her doing well on her first appearance in a Tatuus Formula 4 chassis. Alba Hurup Larsen in 18th, Rafaela Ferreira in 19th, and Peyton Westcott rounding out the top 20 for Van Amersfoort. Joanne Chiconte in 21st place, even though she visited the pits, I believe, at one time. Ava Anagnostiadis in 22nd, Alexander Ruta in 23rd. 24th place, Cornelia Olkuka. Thomas Behrman got back out onto the circuit after visiting the pits and was 25th. Dante Vinci, after a last lap spin, ended up 26th. Simon Schranz retreated into the pit lane on the final lap. Enia Fry, 28th. Kabir Anarag in 29th place. And Georgi Zaravsky, 30th. Although, of course, a few of those drivers not reaching the flag towards the end there. Some attrition in that race, but plenty of excitement as well. And for Us Racing, they will celebrate, but only momentarily, of course. With 6 cars to maintain, the team will very quickly be back on the case going into race 2, which begins, of course, at least our broadcast begins at 3 p.m. for that one. We still have the podiums to bring you in the next few moments, and at the moment I think the latter stages of the herding process going on down on the podium. Andy McEwen and the Giedlick Racing team getting the drivers ready for their podiums, and in fact they have succeeded at that task. So Andy McEwen, over to you with our first podiums of the year.
Thank you, Adam. A fantastic opening race of the weekend then for the Formula Winter Series here in Portimão. We've got our drivers assembled for our first podium presentation, and we'll begin with our best female driver after a fighting drive to a top 10 finish. Give it up, everyone, for Nina Gaidman. Congratulations, Nina. Onto the top step of the podium you'll go. And what a drive that was for the high-tech driver who charged through, as I said, to a top 10 finish after some pretty daring overtakes in the mid-part of the race. Nina holds the trophy aloft, and the high-tech team down below celebrate with her. A chance for photographs to be taken. And we are going to dive in after this and have a quick chat with our top female driver in the race. She figures out the best way to pose with the Formula Winter Series trophy for our photographers down below. And Nina Gaiman with a fantastic performance. Nina, if you can come over here, we'll have a quick chat with you, because that was a pretty eventful race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's my second year in Formula season, so yeah, a big step up, of course. Not the qualifying I wanted to have, of course, double P13, but this race made up for it, coming back to P8. A little bit of damage on the last lap, but after the safety car restart, but I think it's been a solid race.
Always a difficult place to be at a safety car restart, isn't it? Back end of the top 10, you don't really know when the leaders will go, and did that cause a bit of chaos at the restart?
Yeah, we went 3 wide into turn 1, and then I was on the exit curb, unfortunately, so bumped up into the air, got some damage, but still managed to keep my place. So
excellent. Well, congratulations once again to Nina Gaiman. So our rookie class podium is up next then, our top 3 drivers in the rookie category. We will start with our 3rd placed rookie driver, Andrea Dupé. The Frenchman onto the 3rd step of the podium. 2nd position in the rookie class was Artem Severikin. Congratulations, Artem, for Jensen Motorsport, but it is another class victory for high-tech in the rookie class for the Irishman, Fionn McLaughlin. The Red Bull driver heads to the top step of the Portimão podium, and a big congratulations to Fionn, who came out on top there with a, in the end, pretty comfortable rookie class victory. Not necessarily quite such a straightforward race as far as his overall position was concerned, but he was quite a way up the road from the rest of the rookie drivers and on course at times for an overall podium finish. The 3 drivers again gather together on the top of the podium. 3 different teams represented as well at the top of the rookie category. The drivers then will head off. I'm going to come to you actually, Fionn, and meet you on the podium for a quick chat with our class winner. We'll hop up to the top step. I don't often get to stand on the top step, so I'm going to enjoy, well, 2nd step maybe. Fionn, dominant in the rookie class there, narrowly missing out on an overall top 3. Do you think you've got a podium in you later in the day?
Yeah, definitely. Just need to put everything together and then see how we can do in the race.
Talk us through the race then from your perspective, because you were in the thick of the battling earlier on, weren't you? And maybe just got shuffled out on a couple of occasions. Only so much you can do though, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough position to be in, but I'm just learning how to deal with these situations, and then I'll do my best for the next time.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Fionn, for having a chat. Our rookie class podium complete then. Andrea Dupé, Artem Severikin and Fionn McLaughlin. Right, we now welcome our best team onto the podium. We'll have a team representative, I believe, for our winning team, Us Racing. Us Racing, who were so strong in qualifying and come through with a overall race win, which sort of gives the game away as to who we'll be introducing in a moment as our race winner. We now move on then to our top 3 overall drivers. What a fight it was between the podium finishers. In the end, onto the 3rd step of the podium, we will welcome Edu Robinson. Edu jogs out onto the 3rd step of the podium, another of the Us Racing drivers. Not quite a win this time for High Tech Racing, but a solid start to the season for our 2nd place finisher, Leah Robinson, who led for much of the race until halfway round the final lap, when our pole sitter and eventual race winner was able to find a way through. Give it up, everyone down below, for our first winner of the Formula Winter Series season, Gabrielle Gomez, who gets a big cheer from the crowd down below and will climb onto the top step of the podium. And so now we enjoy the national anthem of the winning driver. Aidan Robinson, our race winner in the first Formula Winter Series race of the season. Sorry, Gabriel Gomez, excuse me, the winner of our first Formula Winter Series race of the season. Aidan Robinson and Leah Robinson joining him on the podium, and trophies all around for our top 3 finishers. And of course, us racing, celebrating as the winning team after a phenomenal opening race of the season. Looking really forward to race 2 a bit later on. We'll have a third race, of course, tomorrow morning. And who will come out on top at the end of the weekend? As I said in the race, a short season for Formula Winter Series, really, and so important to get off to a really good start. Celebrations then for us racing and for Gabriel Gomez in the first Formula Winter Series race of the season.
Yes, a fantastic first race of the 2025 Formula Winter Series season. And the best part is we have got another race coming up later today where I'm sure that Leah Robinson will be looking for a bit of redemption for this morning. We are live from 3 p.m, so make sure you join us then.
Hustling for down racing. They both go deep into the corner.